Lunatics is the story of the Apollo 20 moon mission that never took place. But in my novel, NASA does not cancel the last moon missions. They do indeed take place. And the crew that goes to the moon are Wernher von Braun, Alan Bean, and Deke Slayton. Wernher von Braun probably is the principal focus of the book, the German rocket scientist who became the pivotal part of the American space program. So I begin my novel by telling you about the early life of the most interesting, gifted, controversial person, Wernher von Braun. Berlin, April 1921. The cool morning air slapped against Werner's face, and you could see his teeth. But this only made him laugh. He pressed his nose against a break in the fence that surrounded the Zoological Gardens. "Ziggy, you must come and look!" His brother must not have heard, or had chosen to ignore him. That was the trouble with older brothers. From street level, 5 meters away, Sigismund shouted, "We'll be late for school!" Late for school? And what was so great about school, anyway? "You have seen the animals before, Werner! Many times! Come back!" Werner heard his brother's heavy footsteps stomping up from behind, but never once did he take his eyes off the great bird that stood before him. "You see," said Werner, pointing, "this morning it is awake." The fully grown eagle huddled in the cage's uppermost corner, as far away from onlookers as it could manage. But Sigismund was too late. Now the bird sat still and had again closed its eyes. It might not have been alive at all. "What do you mean it's awake?" "Just before you came, Siggy, it opened its eyes." "Or so you imagine." The bird's eyes opened again, blinking twice, and slowly turned toward them. "Oh!" both boys cried out. "It is looking at us," Siggy stammered. Werner turned to his brother. "Is it a bald eagle, do you think?" "I can't read the sign. Maybe it is a golden eagle. Mother would know." Werner had never known his mother to wrongly identify a bird. Often she could do this by sound alone. Around the house their father referred to her as their little Marie Curie. Werner did not know who that was, but he assumed she must be a famous scientist. "Mother would certainly know," Werner agreed. "But probably we should not tell her about this morning, not if we are late again." The great eagle, with barely half a swoop of its gigantic wings, hopped from its faraway perch to the one nearest the boys, staring directly at them. "It has never done that before," Werner whispered. Sigismund could say nothing. "Siggy, are there birds like this in Germany?" "Only in America, I think." Finally, Werner managed, "I wish we could set it free." A laughing shriek from the sidewalk interrupted their thoughts. 2 young women stared at them. One had bright red hair, the other's was completely white and very curly. "Oh, look," the redhead said. "Do you think they have escaped from the zoo?" Both women wore much more makeup than seemed necessary, and Werner could not understand how they could not shiver in such scanty clothing. The woman with bright white hair squatted down and held out a gloved hand. "Why don't you come over and give us a kiss?" Her voice was sing-songy, as if she spoke to a puppy. "Little boys?" Werner elbowed his brother, urging him to return his attention to the eagle. The woman's appearance seemed to have made Sigismund freeze. He could not look away. Finally, thank God, the women linked arms and laughed again and resumed their walk. Their clicking heels took them in a direction opposite the way to school. "But they were such beautiful little boys," the redhead said, turning back one last time. She tilted her head, as if overcome with sadness. "Come on!" Sigismund cried out. "Why are you shouting? And stop pulling my arm! You must come now, Werner!" Werner rustled back his arm and pointed to the cage. That is where I am going someday. What are you talking about? Wernher turned away from the eagle and looked out over his city, the greatest city on earth, his father liked to say. Blue-grey shadows from limestone buildings splayed across the street. Trolley cars clanged, horses snorted, a few automobiles rattled, and Wernher could hear the cries of boys not much older than himself, busy hawking newspapers. Happy and confident, Wernher inhaled and closed his eyes. The air smelled of spring flowers, petrol, and most wonderfully, the fur and feathers of exotic animals. To America, Siggy! That is where I am going! Wernher smiled in a way that he knew would irritate his brother, maybe even father. Sigismund scoffed. What is farther than America?